I'm pleased to introduce you our next speaker, Dr. Patricia Melin, who is a professor of computer science in the Graduate Division Tijuana Institute of Technology, Tijuana, Mexico, since 1998. She serves as Director of Graduate Studies in Computer Science and is head of the research group on hybrid neural intelligence systems. She holds a Doctor of Science degree from the Polish Academy of Sciences. Dr. Melin has supervised over 100 graduate students and authored more than 1,100 publications, with over 25,000 citations and an H-index of 87 on Google Scholar. Without further introduction, Patricia Melin.
Good morning. First of all, thank you to the organizing committee for inviting me giving this speech, particularly to Professor Oscar Montiel. It's a pleasure to be here again in this seminar. The talk that I will be introduced today is a fuzzy fractal search for topological optimization of neural network architecture. This is a joint work with my group from Tijuana Institute of Technology, from the group of Professor Oscar Castillo, Marilu Lara, and Yvette Miramontes. Thank you for this invitation. The outline is a general outline here, the abstract introduction, methodology, problem statement, results, some conclusion, and reference. But what is the interesting thing here? That you see that the title is a fractal. In this case, it's inspired by the diffusion process occurring in natural, which evolves in fractal structures. The fractal search algorithm was originally proposed by Salimi. What is interesting here, the fractal structure. This is a joint work that Professor Castillo and myself are doing for several years. Why? Because we were in Boston University some time ago in a dynamical system program for the National Science Foundation, and Science Then with Professor Robert Devaney, Professor Grossberg, Professor Mandelbrot, give us the ideas of dynamical system and build systems from a dynamical system, but interesting in fractal search, by example, fractal structures. You know, the fractal search algorithm was implemented by Salimi. That science, we see that algorithm and want to work with this one. Later, the fractal, stochastic algorithm was enhanced by fuzzy parameter adaptation from our group, because we want to explore more the optimization options, and my group and myself want to introduce the new modification algorithm of fractal search with fuzzy parameter adaptation. Recently, there have been experimental findings showing that many natural processes, including quantum, exhibit fractal structure. This is the interesting point here at many levels. In particularly, biological neural networks show a fractal organization of neurons in the brain. In this regard, we believe that metaheuristics based on fractal paradigm will be able to search optimal topologies in neural network. That's why we need, in this sense, the idea of using this paradigm as a fractal or topological optimization to build the optimal architecture in neural networks. We show preliminary experiments optimizing neural networks, doing two regression applications, in this case for NASA commercial modular aero population system simulations. But now I briefly describe where the fractal search is in the different methods of optimization. In this case, we know that we have metaheuristic algorithms that had been applied to optimize problems due to their characteristics that help in searching for global optima, will simplest heuristics as mostly capable in searching local optima, and these are not very effectiveness for optimal solution because they trap it in local optima. Stochastic methods have been peculiarly of being characterized by stochastic random variables. In the literature, some most used stochastic algorithms for optimization can be found. By example, the well-known genetic algorithms that is inspired by biological evolution. You know, so many researchers are work before with genetics algorithms. Another interesting algorithm that is well known right now and uses for many research is the practical Swar optimization, PSO, that is based behavior of natural and nature of fish and birds, where each particle moves randomly to find the global optima, updating its speed and position until finding the best global solution. Another one is the well-known also taboo search, that is an interactive method that will metal stretching for behavior and avoids getting trapped in local optima. This is most of the normal optimization methods that you can see in the literature and that the researchers are using. As mentioned, these algorithms are the most widely used right now. For example, Liu, in his paper, make an algorithm for optimization of hybrid particle Swar optimization. Since the first methods that I mentioned were done, so many researchers are working on modifications of that, like modification of PCO. We have seen in the literature many different updating from trying to get more exploration and exploitation capabilities in each of that methods. By example, we have also the PSO with an algorithm combined for chaos introducing in this particular method. By example, no? In paper of some researchers proposes a new practical Swar optimization method that uses chaotic maps, by example. On the other hand, J.D. And his collaboration develops an improved PCO called improve the performance of a standard PCO, which uses dynamic inertia well that decreases as iteration generation increases. That's some modifications that some researchers has been done. In the paper of Mishagi, the invasive well with optimization algorithm is presented as method inspired by behavior with colonies based on its chaos theory. In addition to improvements to a stochastic optimization method, there are also combination of hybridization, in this case with fuzzy logic, that is where our group is working on, but previous other authors are also used. For example, the article showing by Chen and his group develops an adaptive fuzzy control method to control chaotic unfinite systems. Also, in some research, a multi-meta-heuristic model is developed for optimization of fuzzy controllers, for example. But our group, in particular, was carried out a modification of the BAT algorithm. In this case, for the dynamic adaptation of parameters in this algorithm, there are different applications using meta-heuristics and fuzzy logic for optimization that my group was developed. You can see in the paper that we have mentioned some of them. But having reviewed the principal algorithms that we can find in the literature, where the stochastic fractal search was, is obviously a mathematical-based algorithm, represent a contemporary category of these meteoristics algorithms that do not imitate specific phenomena or behaviors, but instead really on mathematical formulations. The stochastic fractal search algorithm is an example of robust mathematical-based meta-heuristic method developed by, as I said before, Salami, based on the mathematical concept of fractals. You can see here in this image that we group the brief classification of meta-heuristics and see the evolutionary-based algorithm that is very well known by genetic algorithms, by example, the swarm-based methods like PSO, the human-based, that is a special algorithms that uses the form of human are working and thinking, etc., and the chemistry physics-based methods and mathematical-based methods, that is the stochastic fractal search. Now I briefly will be describe why the method that we are proposing and some applications that we are doing with that method. Instead, in this work, we focus on verifying the efficiency of the dynamic stochastic fractal search method in optimized neural network architecture. And in this particular paper, we are showing the application of regression as a contribution in this part. We plan to extend in the future the use of fuzzy logic to quantum fuzzy inference systems. But before I go to the application, to the method and application, if you think in this sense that we are adapting with a fuzzy inference system, the algorithm of fractal search, and also uses that for architecture of neural networks, we need to say that we have building a hybrid intelligence system. In this case, a hybrid intelligence system is to propose approaches for building powerful hybrid intelligence system for achieving accurate results. In this case, what we need is to build adequate architecture of neural networks. The monolithical networks or modular networks or ensemble networks, etc., to apply in a different areas. And with this, we need a hybrid system. For example, for recognition, pattern recognition, for using in a complex systems, by example. The proposed hybrid architecture in this case will be with a fuzzy logic neural network and the interesting fractal search. The combination here for this, we are using type 2 fuzzy inference system and type 1 for demonstrate the difference between them. And in particular, the future work will be using interval type 3. But what is the intelligence? The intelligence here is what we use when we do not know what to do. By example, perform complex tasks, recognizing complex patterns, learning for experience, and build an entire system that mimic the behavior of how human is done. A hybrid intelligence system is one, in this case, for our case, to build an intelligent computer system. The combination of at least two intelligent technologies, for example, combining neural network with fuzzy system results in a hybrid neural systems. The combination of probabilistic reasoning, fuzzy logic, neural networks, and evolutionary computation from the core of soft computing that were the area in which we are working on. Some of the combinations for some intelligence systems as fuzzy logic, RedSat, neural network, evolutionary algorithms, and the combination of these is complementary rather than competitive. That is the point that we need to see if we are using correctly all the techniques to build a hybrid system for complementary instead of competitive one or other one. Here is the some classifications for the building a hybrid intelligence system. So our goal is to select the right components for building a good hybrid intelligence system. This is some of the architectures that we can see for hybrid intelligence system. The mostly used and simple one is the sequential, using one subcomputing and second subcomputing and have the solution. But another one uses is this one, that is implementing the first subcomputing to be a solution, have a feedback with a second one, and again, this is one form of doing, or a completely parallel in the work. But in general, we can construct this type of hybrid intelligence system that we have first the data that we will be up for the system. Maybe we need to be pre-processing for that data, then passes to some clustering algorithms, then for function approximation, and the optimization algorithm. In this sense, we have here construct the hybrid intelligence system with, but what we need is select the correct technique for build this system. But now, with that in mind, we want to build a hybrid intelligence system that involves the stochastic fractal search. This fractal search, first I will be describe roughly the stochastic fractal search. This is originally developed in mathematics to describe self-similarities and complex structure. Fractal theory has since been applied in science and engineering. Fractal geometry has become crucial tool for understand interactive patterns and process. The term fractal was first introduced by Mandelbrot, who describes in this theory of fractals geometry pattern generated in nature. There are some methods to generate fractals, such as a system of iterated functions, strange adapter, Lorentz systems, finite subdivision, and random fractals. The property of an object or quantity which incorporates self-similarity, by example, we have here the Mandelbrot sets. The image is not so clear, but sorry. Here we can see, if you pointed here by example, and you can see the Mandelbrot sets again and again and again. Maybe here we can see in Sierpinski triangle, you have the triangle formed over and over and over in each figure. And on the other hand, on the part of generation of random fractals, we find the diffusion limited aggregation, which consists of formation of fractals starting with an initial practical, call it a seed located at the origin. Then other particles are randomly generated around the origin point, causing diffusion. that this point is very interesting for the stochastic fractal search. We have here the diffusion limit aggregation fractal that is formed with ramifications here. The diffusion process is carried out with a mathematical algorithm as a random walk where the diffuser particle addressed to the seed particle is processed is repeated until a group is formed. While the cluster is forming, the probability of the particle stack the NS increases compared to those reached in interior forming clusters with a structure similar to branch that is formed here. And also we have here the phase of chaotic stochastic patterns, such as this chaotic behavior like Lorentz attractor. But what is the mathematical model for stochastic fractal search? The mathematical model the algorithm comprises three main processes that is from the algorithm initialization, diffusion, and updating. Initially, a group of particles generated is assigned a predetermined level of electrical potential energy. We have the initialization phase. Then the diffusion process focuses on exploring the search within promising areas, while the updating process prioritize in new region solutions. Here is the diffusion process that is, uses fractal structures for construct the solution. This is the steps for stochastic fractal search. This the first stage 2, initialization, the population of particles. Then the diffusion process, that is the process of exploitation with Gaussian formulas 2 and 3, and then at the end we have the update process, that is the exploration fractal search with this expression. You can see this in a literature from a paper of Lim. Selimi, please, sorry. And here is the final equations for the second step of updated process. This is, in conclusion, the flow chart for this stochastic fractal search. For this stage, you can see the initialization, diffusion, and 2 update process. In each stage plays a critical role in the overall search process. And here is the flow chart. And the important thing here for the case of us will be in this part. Now, I will be describe briefly the fuzzy fractal search, that is our point of interest here, because we are done this modification, our group. Here, as mentioned before, the stochastic fractal search has 2 important processes, the diffusion method and the updating strategy. In analyzing the diffusion method, we know that the seed particle is initialized, and others are generated another through diffusion, which forms a chaotic stochastic fractal branch. By taking this fact into account, the method has been improved by our group, adding diversity to the diffusion. That is the important thing here. We add in diversity of the diffusion process for the particles in each iteration. In this way, the part of Gaussian random walk was improved because the particles had more possibility to exploit the search space and therefore do not stand in a suboptimal location. That is the important thing here. And we have very good results in the modification of this part of the algorithm. To control the diffusion parameters, a fuzzy inference system was introduced. We dynamically adjust the diffusion of the particles in the range of 0 and 1, and the fuzzy system for control has 2 inputs, the iteration and diversity, and 1 output for diffusion. The implementation was a fuzzy system with 9 rules, which allow for expression of the knowledge availability of the relationship between attendance and consequence, and the rules determine the behavior of fuzzy control, in this case for modifying a stochastic fractal search. This is the flow chart of dynamic stochastic fractal search that we have here. It's exactly the same, but the difference is in this phase that we can control here with a fuzzy inference system. Instead, these two equations that we are having here, we modify and have an type 1 in the first stage, and then we change to type 2 fuzzy inference systems. This is the case for type 1 fuzzy system. As you see, is the iteration and diversity, each one with 3 different triangular membership functions, and at the end, the diffusion with also 3 different membership functions. And for the interval type 2 fuzzy inference system, the parameters values are obtained by expanding the footprint of uncertainty. By example, having this in mind, the fuzzy triangle, we expand the foot of uncertainty we have in the center the previous type 1, but we expand the foot of uncertainty to have this type of membership functions, and the fuzzy rules is the same, but using that type of membership functions. And this is the question for type 2 fuzzy system with membership upper membership function and lower membership functions. Now that is the algorithm that we are modifying from fractal search, and now I will briefly give some details in how we can use that method. We are presenting here the results for the turbine engine degradation problem. Engine degradation simulation was carried out using the commercial modular aeropopulation system simulation. For different sets were simulated under different combinations of operation condition and foul modes. This records several sensor channels to characterize foul evolution. The data set was provided by NASA Ames Prognostic Center of Excellence. The data set has been utilized in several previous studies. And this is the form that we have here. We have the new improved algorithm for fractal search that we are using a type 2 inference system in the diffusion part, and we have the neural network that we can use, and at the end we have the predicted value. This is the entire hybrid intelligence system, because we have here the part of neural network, the part of optimization algorithm, and the fuzzy system. And at the end, this part of the system gives me the number of layers, number of neurons, learning rate, momentum for using in the neural network. Some simulation results. First, in this part, I will show you the effectiveness of the proposed method for dynamic stochastic fractal search that uses a fuzzy inference system. In this case, we will compare the type 1 and type 2 fuzzy system. This is done by Congress on Evolutionary Computing Functions. That was a competition, you know, from 2017 that have 4 different types of functions: the unimodal functions, sample mathematical functions, hybrid functions, and composition functions. These are more complex ones than the first ones. But if we can have the good solution for these ones, it's demonstrate that our method is good. This table shows the difference from the algorithm that we are proposing using a type 1, type 2, and compare with this algorithm that is a practical swarm optimization hybrid with Firefly algorithm. Why we compare with this one? Because this one was demonstrated in this paper that is the better one of so many other methods, and we are comparing with this one. We can see here is a specific for this number of dimensions. We can see that type 2 is better. But the experiment is done by so many more dimensions, like 100 dimensions. At the end, this is the presenting results for the particular application that I showed before you. Here, we have the results using the method with a different number of neurons. We have so many proofs here, and we select the best one, that is this one with 8 neurons, and in the first layer and second layer, 2 neurons. This is other simulations, and then we can see how this is predicted values and actual values. You can see here that is our predicted values is following the actual data very close. In conclusion, in this work, we have outlined a novel approach for optimizing neural network architecture based in fuzzy fractal search approach. That is our method that we are developed before, and inspired by the diffusion process in nature, which evolves in a fractal fuzzy structure. The fractal search algorithm was originally proposed, and later we are modifying this algorithm by using parameter adaptation with good results, first in function optimization, and then we are applying in different areas. Recently, there have been experimental findings showing that many natural processes exhibit fractal structure at many levels. In particular, as I said before, biological neural networks, such as fractal organization neurons in brain. In this regard, we believe that meta-heuristic based on a fractal paradigm will be able to search optimal topologies in neural networks. We have presented a preliminary results on optimization neural network for regression problem, in particular in this case, demonstrating promising performance improvements, and that can be applied so many areas in engineering and science. As future work, we plan to extend the use of fuzzy logic type 3, which can be potentially called handle higher levels uncertainty and can be used in a more complex systems. Lastly, we are working on implementing quantum fuzzy inference for the fractal search algorithm, which may open a new lines of research. And this is some of the references that I mentioned in my talk. You can see in the paper also. Thank you for your attention.